The Austin Food and Wine Festival returns November 7th through 9th, and the lineup is insane. VIP tickets include exclusive tastings and access to Made in Texas, a dine-around event on Friday, November 7th, featuring my personal favorite celebrity chefs serving their take on Texas fare. Sunday-only tickets get you tastings and the full chef showcase lineup, which includes Austin's own Kevin Fink and Tavel Bristol Joseph. Plus, there will be one of DJ Mel's legendary dance parties. Tickets are selling fast and are available now at austinfoodandwinefestival.com. It feels like Austin has just become a comedy mecca, but we've actually been in the game for a long time. Improv, stand-up, sketch comedy, we have it all. So today on CityCast Austin, we're digging into how our city got to be so damn funny. It's Monday, October 27th. I'm Nikki Devon, and this is what Austin's talking about. Hello, I am here with Dave Buckman, executive producer of Cold Town Theater and director of operations at UCB Austin, and Izzy Berger, local comedian and host of Ladies Night comedy show every week at the Velveeta Room. What is up, Dave? What's up, Izzy?
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for being here, y'all.
Oh my God, thank you for having me.
Same.
Of course. Okay. Now, I am biased because I'm a native Austinite, and so everybody already knows what my answer to this is going to be. But do you think Austinites are funnier people than in other cities?
I think people are people, and there's funny people everywhere, and I think everybody is funny. When you're with your friends, you're funny. And so, just learning how to be funny in front of strangers, that's the jump to professional, I think.
That's the jump. What about you, Izzy?
Now I'm from North Carolina, so I must maintain my loyalty to the North Carolina sense of humor. I don't want to, betray anyone. I would agree. There is a certain kind of, and I don't know whether it's the cowboy thing. There is something about the humor, the sense of humor, kind of the flavor down here that is, it's different than what I was always kind of used to. And it catches me off guard. And it is, I wouldn't say that it's funnier down here, but there's sort of a, there's a new little spice to it that I wasn't, used to back in North Carolina.
Well, so I feel like the comedy scene in the city is changing. And depending on who you talk to, it's either good or bad. Right? Austin has always been this weird place, and we've always had this very, in my opinion, specific sense of humor. We make fun of people, we make fun of each other. And to your point, Dave, I think everybody does that. Make fun of people, we make fun of each other. We definitely make fun of politics because we, for so long was this blueberry in the tomato soup kind of thing. But that is also changing. And so I just want your opinion. Like, why do you think Austinites need comedy right now? Dave, why don't you go first?
Well, Austinites need comedy because we're living in very trying times. And I think comedy is just a reflection of what is happening in society, I don't know how much that blueberry's changing so much in the tomato soup, only because, maybe on the street, but all the elected officials in Austin are overwhelmingly liberal. So until that changes, I don't think much is going to happen changing in Austin. But I think as you invite 150 people to move here every single day for the last 15, 20 years, the city is going to change. And people have been complaining about Austin changing since the 1800s compared to where it was 20 years ago. So whoever lives here, that's what comedy is. It's what is reflecting them. I think it's always going to change, and change is always good, and change is always bad. So I don't think it's a good or bad. I think it's a good and bad. That's what's happening to Austin.
I like it.
I like that. A lot of people need comedy. I know I need comedy. And I think people start hearing that this is sort of a hub, and they start saying, well, I love this and I want to be surrounded by that. And then their next move is to go, well, where can I go that I will be surrounded by this thing, that I love to laugh and I love to create art and I love to make comedy all the time. And then they hear Austin, Austin, Austin all the time. And then I think that brings a lot of people here without really knowing the culture or knowing like what's been going on in the town or how it's changed. They just want to get here and be a part of it. And so I feel like as kind of a part of that wave, when I got here, I really didn't know what to expect. I just, had my job. So every day is a discovery.
I love that. I love that. So, okay, we've got tons of comedy clubs in Austin, amazing comedians. The Moon Tower Comedy Festival comes through. And I'm just curious, and please forgive me if I'm late to the party. I've always known of the Velveeta Room as being the kind of monolith in the city, and Cold Town. And I didn't really know that we had reach. And now it seems as if we have some reach, you know what I mean? And maybe we always have, and my ass just didn't know. How big of a deal is our comedy scene?
A big deal in that a lot of people talk about it. Yes. Like a big deal if you go to Peoria, Illinois, and you say, I do comedy in Austin, Texas. Everyone at the open mic, their ears are going to poke up a little bit more, and they're going to have 100 questions. Have you ever been here? Have you ever seen, it's kind of like, it's interesting. It's like New York City. Oh, have you ever been to here? You ever seen this guy walking down, this celebrity? So I guess in that way, yes, importance. And also there's been amazing comedy happening here for so long, but now it's got this like celebrity aspect. That's like, throw that in the mix. So you can't tell.
What do you think, Dave?
Yeah. I've been here 20 years, actually 21. And so I remember when there wasn't a lot. It was just Cap City and Velveeta Room and Esther's Follies, and that was kind of it in the Hideout Theater. And that was the whole scene.
Yeah.
First of all, everybody loves Austin. So whenever you go around the country, people want to talk about their experience in Austin with you and their favorite places in Austin. So there's a charm to this city that has enchanted the entire country. And I know when we got here in the improv sketch community and we started blowing up a little bit as far as improv goes, before the pandemic, we had 5 different improv theaters going.
Wow.
All with their own communities, all sharing the same performers, all sharing the same teachers and students. Wow. But we had 5 different distinct, and we made a very conscious effort as owners of those theaters to not have a siloed scene where, you take classes here, you can't perform over there, you're teaching here. We did not do that. We did that
I love that.
We opened that up on purpose because we knew that a rising tide would lift all boats, and it did. So people would move here, they'd come to our festival, and they would stay. And we were attracting talent from all over the country. And I think that's kind of what ended up happening, because that's the kind of vibe that the Austin music scene has, that the Austin art scene has. And of course, once the comedy scene got to the point where we were sending people like Vanessa Gonzalez out there and Dismukes on Saturday Night Live, and Noah Wells on Saturday Night Live, and Devin, all these people started getting national prominence. Maggie May, Daniel Rugg Webb, who's coming back to Cap City on Valentine's Day. Check out Daniel Rugg Webb.
Love Daniel Webb.
Yeah, me too. Me and my wife made Valentine's Day date to see him at Cap City. I'll give him a plug. Absolutely. So once the talent that was bred here in the aughts and teens started hitting the coasts, and they're like, "Where'd you come from?" Austin. Of course, it was going to blow up.
Yeah.
And of course, Rogan moving here is going to. This is the most popular podcast in the history of podcasts. Yeah. There's comedy fans all over the country listening to that. So, of course, they hear these people, and now Cam Patterson's on Silent Live, and Shane Gillis blew up out of here. And so, Shane Gillis had to move here to blow up a little bit. I think it's just a reflective of, again, Austin's a magical, charming place. And I knew 15 years ago, once Hollywood heard about what was going on here, it would blow up like this.
The rap, yeah.
And I saw this coming 15 years ago. We had to get our ducks in a row and our shit in order, so that when Hollywood, New York, and industry started paying attention to us, we were going to be ready, because the stuff we were doing was experimental and bold, and we knew no one was coming in to hire us. We just were trying to make it good. So it got good under unsupervised circumstances.
Well, thank you for doing that. Thank you for making such a wonderful place for other people to come in. I mean, it really is one of a kind.
And I tell you, the best people that blew up were the people that did stand up and improv and sketch. The multidisciplinary folks, they like Vanessa Gonzalez
Also hilarious.
is just as good of improviser as she is a stand-up, you know?
Yeah.
Because she cut her teeth on those stages as well and recognized like this is just as important a tool as writing is, you know what I mean? She combines them both. And you ever see, I just saw her act in a film called Home Free. She had a one scene cameo and she steals the movie in one scene.
I can talk all day about Vanessa Gonzalez. The way she delivers things.
It's conversational.
It's conversational. It feels like I'm talking to one of my homegirls. I really like her. You know, an embarrassing story for me is the first time
Let's hear it.
I went to see improv was at Cold Town.
Thank you.
A friend of a friend invited me because someone she was dating or interested in was in the troupe. I have a great fucking time. And then I go back to my friends. I'm like, oh my God, you guys, I went to this show and like, it was like so typical Austin. They were just making stuff up on the fly. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, it was like brand new to me. And I thought Austin had created improv. That I mean, I had
Wow.
no, you know what I mean? Like,
But good improv makes you feel that way. Good improv makes you feel like you have never seen improv before. It makes you like you are witnessing a one-of-a-kind thing.
And I was describing it to a group of my friends and they were like, oh, honey, that sounds like improv. I was like, yeah, they were all improving. And they were like, no. Improv is a thing that exists and it has existed for a while. And I was like, oh, Austin did not invent this. Okay. It just seemed like something that just fit in this city so well. I was like, of course Austin would come up with this thing where you just pull stuff out of your ass and make a whole show out of it.
We didn't invent breakfast tacos either, but we'll take credit for it.
Yeah. Yeah, every now and then my friend was like, you remember that time you thought Austin, created improv? I'm like, I know, shut up. But whatever. It was good. It was really good.
It's not the dumbest thing to think. It's not it's not the weirdest thing to believe.
Yeah, it was good. So the New York Times recently highlighted Austin's comedy scene and noted all of the new comedy clubs that have opened up in the past few years. And we've talked about a couple of them. But they said specifically that Creek in the Cave, moving down from New York in 2021, is known as and I'm putting this in heavy quotations, everyone, turning point in revitalizing the scene. And I'm curious if the two of you agree.
I think it has changed the scene. I think it definitely has left a fingerprint. I think there's a lot of really hot comedy shows that go on at the Creek in the Cave, and there's a lot of really talented, headliners, and they got great acts that come through. It's like kind of the place that everybody kind of goes and hangs out and just sort of, it's like all the shadow work gets done. There's just a few places that people go and it's just wheeling and dealing and networking. And it's when you have hubs like that, sometimes that can be the place where it maybe isn't the safest for a new comic, or it isn't the most, healthy place for someone who's just trying to grow their art, because this is a place where people are going to make connections. And so it kind of kicks it up to a more kind of a professional sort of an environment where people are going and they're really, really grinding. And that can be rough. That can be rough, especially for newer comics.
Yeah, heard. Dave, what about you?
I wouldn't say that Creek in the Cave revitalized anything. I think they came in at a perfect time when nobody was doing comedy in the city.
Yeah.
Because everybody that was here was trying to be ethical and do the safe thing and try, I did a bunch of shows outside in 2021.
Yeah,
when Creek in the Cave was opening, I was doing backyard jams and backyard shows.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of, I think, shock to the system for the people that were here of like, hey, that's not, we care about other people, and we don't want to be responsible for deaths for the sake of comedy. But some people like saw that vacuum, and there was a vacuum there of people that are like, yeah, I want to do the comedy, and I'm not gonna get sick. And I invite anybody that wants to see a show, come down, see a show. Anybody wants to do a show, come down, do a show. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think there was a little bit of like why are they jumping back into something as silly as telling jokes in a room? Like, that's not an essential service.
Yeah.
But in some for some people and for some places, it kind of was. So I would say they revitalized something. I'd say they vitalized a dormant scene, but the scene was strong, and we were going to come back just as strong because we were about to pop before that pandemic.
Yeah.
Everything was about to everybody was about to pop and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And we just kind of like put a pause on that. And in that pause,
Exactly.
And then everybody came back with that. So everybody that was here came back on top of that, and that's where that scene got huge. That's where we blew up. Is everybody that was doing comedy started doing comedy again? Everybody that came in that was doing the Rogans, the Creek in the Cave, the national name brands, and that's where UCB is like, we got to get in on Austin.
So, okay, speaking of Rogan, his Joe Rogan's Comedy Mothership opened in 2023. And, I have all kinds of thoughts, but the thing that I will say over and over again that I've seen personally, if I'm driving down 6th Street and I'm looking at the line getting into the Comedy Mothership, all of those people look the same to me. And so that seems to say to me that the type of comedy that is presented in Comedy Mothership, it definitely appeals to a very specific certain type of person. So I'm curious from y'all's perspective. I know, Izzy, you just recently performed there. Like, how did Comedy Mothership change Austin's comedy community? How did it change things?
I know my experience with Mothership. I did not have a negative experience. I had a good experience with Mothership. The booker, the guy, Adam, he was lovely. I did 5 sets. The crowd was rowdy, and sometimes you could tell that they came with an energy that they wanted you to come in and just beat them over the face with comedy. Just make them laugh. They didn't want any dead air. I don't feel like they expected anyone to be aggressive. They just wanted, every comic that came out, they should have had like pyrotechnics lighting off behind them, like coming out with that kind of energy, like, whoa, rock concert.
Very broy. It's very broy.
And so as a woman going in, especially not a young woman, you have to navigate, how do I present? What are they expecting of me? Am I just the art teacher that used to yell at them? Like, what are they gonna, what do I have to offer them as a comedian?
Which some of them may have loved.
Yeah, but the thing is, but really, comedy is the same. You connect, you find something funny, and it's gonna work. You're not mean. I'm not mean. I'm not a mean comic. I don't pick on people. That was different. But no, I just feel like I like the club, but I can see how it fosters that sort of like, I gotta go. I gotta get this joke. And people get desperate and they get sloppy.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of people who are green. When you start out green, or when you start out and you're just kind of feeling out who you are as a comedian, your first goal should not be to go get in front of one of the biggest comedy producers in the world, bookers in the world, and get yourself on television. Your goal should be to find out who your voice is, get in front of as many crowds as possible, and feel your shit out. But some of these people, they go, I love comedy. They do some mics, they get some pops. Shit, I might be good at this. I got to go to the Mothership. And then they just start signing up for the Mothership mics. And then the ones that have more potential or whatever, it's kind of like panning for gold. They filter, the better ones filter through, and some of them end up, doing sets. And, but I feel like that should be discouraged. I feel like there should be like a cap. Like, in order to work at Mothership, you should have some sort of a number of years, or, because it's really drawing a lot of people and making them not do the work they need to do. They think, as long as I have 5 minutes and I go in there and I kill, I make a reel, I'm in the Mothership. Now I got 15,000 followers and I'm a real comedian. And that's just not the path that it takes to get good. So I think it's going to screw a lot of them over in the end, pursuing something they're not ready for.
Well, I think that's assuming that they want to be funny and not famous.
True.
I think.
Oh. Look at that.
Yeah.
I think that is the goal of a lot of kids that start comedy right away and want to try to figure out those shortcuts. You know what I mean? There's no shortcuts. I mean, it took me 20 years to really get good and confident with what I was doing in improv. You know what I mean? I'd go through 3-4 year ruts, and getting through those ruts, there was always something better and stronger and smarter on the other side of that rut.
Yeah.
But I'd go through like those places where like I'm not good at this anymore.
Yeah.
But still doing it and trying to figure it out, right? Yeah, I think to be a good comic, to be a good comedian, to be a good writer, you've got to appeal to more than just one kind of audience.
Yeah.
You got to be able to make a predominantly women audience laugh, a broy audience laugh, an African-American audience laugh. Like those are the good comics that can they're just doing comedy because it's funny about the human nature and not, making fun of another group of people. I think a lot of people that start out, especially the folks that start at the mothership and they don't really evolve beyond those walls, they hear a laugh, and a laugh they are equating, they think is funny. But very often the laugh they're getting is the shock of somebody not knowing how to react to something shocking. Sometimes there's a laugh reaction, and they're mistaking that punching down energy, getting that shock laugh. That's not funny. That's just mean and startling somebody.
Yes.
I don't know what to do, so I'm laughing
Exactly. And so for them, a laugh is a laugh is a laugh. Is it funny? Or are you just picking on somebody and you're tapping into somebody's bully mindset to make them laugh? Because yes, babies falling down and crying, that is so funny to me. And I know that's a mean thing to laugh at, but geez, I will laugh at that every single time. Old people cursing is so funny to me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So there are things that are mean that are funny, but I think when you are in that environment and you're hearing the laughs and you're like, I got to get the laugh. And the easiest way to do that is to put somebody else down. That's where you're gonna tap out and hit your ceiling very, very quickly.
Yeah, it's lazy.
And to that point, so this is one of my biggest issues of booking a regular show down on 6th Street at the Velve, which is like a block up from the mothership. So we get a lot of the spillover traffic. We get a lot of the guys that weren't able to get tickets. We get the people they were too drunk at the last minute. They come into our club and they're great. They're great crowds because they're excited about comedy and they're like, hey, we can't go here. We're going to go here. So booking a women's show, I book predominantly women, and then I'll have one man, our diversity hire. And we kind of give him a hard time, you're a man, you're lucky to...
You need a token.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, and it's always kind of like a fun spot, because when the guy is clearly like an ally, and he's a good person, and also a funny comic, then it just makes the show better. It's there, everyone's supporting. In the end, there is no gender, we're all the same, we're all funny, la 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 la. But I've booked a few of these guys... I want a spot on the lady show. Give me a spot on the lady show. And I say, now you can't, this is for women. So there's certain things you can't talk about. And, I know that. I'm like, you're so stupid. Of course I'd never say that. They get to the show. This has happened 3 times. They get to the show and they go, I'm going to get them. Wait till they hear what I've got. They're going to be pissed when they hear what I have to say. And I say, are you going to go up and insult my crowd now? And they're, I've got some, and they look at me like I'm gonna get all good for thank you for making everyone upset. And I've literally there's guys I won't book again because they kind of presented like they were aware of the gig, but then they got there and they said it's a room full of women. Instead of saying I can make them laugh, which they knew they couldn't, they just pissed them off. They pulled like a Matt Rife. Let me see the most offensive things I can. And then they took that offense as some kind of success. And they walked out like the cat that ate the canary with a grin on their face. Like they had a great set. And that's when I knew something was wrong. It isn't just the guys. There's some, women that are just nothing but shock value too. Somebody told them wrong.
Yeah.
Along the way. Someone gave them bad advice,
Yeah.
But when it messes up my show, then I get pissy. When it comes into my world, I have to deal with,
Well, so So I'm curious. We're a melting pot of comedy, right? You got a little bit of everything. You got the punching down. You got, you have a little bit of everything, I think, in this
Well,
city.
I would say before we go any further, there's a lot of people that are in the punched down category,
Yeah.
and there was a lot more of them before the pandemic.
Right.
A lot more trans comics, a lot more gay comics, a lot more black comics in the scene that are not here anymore. They moved out of the city.
And I can understand why. I can completely understand why,
Same. And so it feels to me like when I heard that UCB, and for those listening, UCB is Upright Citizens Brigade. It's huge. And so when I found out they were coming to Austin, I, for one, got super, super excited. How do y'all think that UCB coming to town is going to change the scene?
Well, UCB coming is going to elevate the level and talent and polish of the improv in this town. I think we got very good at being okay with mid shows. I think UCB is going to put a little polish on that and sharpen our skills up. We're going to be able to get a lot more acts that have come out of UCB to kind of visit Austin. We're going to be able to send troops and shows that are developed in Austin to New York and LA.
Yes.
And we're going to move. We're going to find a new spot in a couple of years as well that's bigger than what we have now, a little bit more walkable. We'll be a presence downtown for a long time to come, hopefully, with a new kind of comedy that a lot of comedy fans aren't even familiar with. People who love comedy, who have never seen improv before, are going to, their faces are going to melt. Because when you, like what you said before, when you see a really good improv show, it is mind-bending.
It really is.
And there's a lot of bad improv out there for sure, around the country. And, student shows are hard to sit through. I have a hard time sitting through them myself these days. But when it's transcendent and beautiful and smart and well-read and really challenges you on a personal and ethical and emotional level, it's the coolest thing in the world. So I can't wait for Austin audiences to rediscover not only what improv is, but what UCB style improv is, which is very comedy driven. It's about distilling the funniest idea quickly and building on it right away, which is something that the Austin improv scene hasn't had yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the good thing that other than because I've been obsessed with UCB since I was a kid. Oh my God. It's just when I read it, I had to read it in the paper twice. I was like, no way. But I think one thing that, besides craft and talent and traveling shows, which are magnificent, UCB is going to bring something that has joy in it. It's nothing but joy. It is without ego. It is without pretension. It is just pure, people working together, and it makes this amazing product that will never happen again. And that's something in a town where comedy sets are repeated over and over again. People go from one club to another. They do the same set. They try new jokes, but there's sort of a formula. There's sort of a whatever. To have something that is not only a celebration of just complete spontaneity, but also joy. Also, it's okay to be funny and also like yourself.
I love that.
You can be funny and have a good life. But I'm really excited about UCB because I think it's actually going to cure some depression in the comedy scene, just as a whole.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's very collaborative. I know so many people that have found their best friends and their bridesmaids at Cold Town and their life partners. There's Cold Town babies, people who never would have met outside of Cold Town that have had kids. It's an insane way for funny, smart people to meet each other, collaborate, cohabitate, and just build things together.
Love it.
You don't have to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
I love it. You both said something earlier, or you alluded to something earlier that I kind of want to go back around to for our last question. I won't speak for everyone, but I think that sometimes there's this belief that if you're funny, then you're a comedian. I host shows, and a lot of friends are like, oh my God, you're so funny. You're so funny. You should do comedy. And I'm like, it's one thing to be just like a funny human. But being a comedian to me, in my opinion, is different. I'm curious, like, let's just say this person's a funny person objectively. What's a good way to tell if you have the chops to become a comedian, to even put your foot out there, to even try?
I would say open mics and level 1 improv class. That's, I mean,
There it
I
is.
mean, the Fallout, the Hideout, Cold Town, Merlin Works, and now the Seed, and even Comedy Sports. Those are all the improv houses in town. They all have a jam. They all have an open free jam where you just kind of show up and just play and see if you like it. They all have a beginning trial class. If you just want to dip your toe in for an hour and see if you like it, they all have that. And they all have a level 1 class. You know, there's so many open mics in this town. So
yes.
ComedyWham.com. Go to ComedyWham.com. They list all the open mics. They list all the showcases, and they list all the showrunners for all those open mics and showcases. That's it.
Well, that's amazing advice. I mean, that's part of what I probably would have said as well. I mean, I think probably mentorship, some kind of mentorship, some kind of someone that is a trusted human being that has done more than you. If you can just find a few trusted artists that you really look up to their work, they will give you the kind of guidance that you might have to dig yourself out of a few holes just screwing up. You know, they might give you some good advice.
Yeah.
And I would also say seek out different teachers. You know, when I went to Chicago to learn improv, I did classes at Second City and Improv Olympic and the Annoyance Theater. And I found brilliant teachers at all three, teaching me 3 very different approaches to the work. And they're still my mentors. And there's stand-up classes. Rochelle McConico teaches wonderful stand-up classes. She's launched a lot of stand-up careers here in Austin.
Wow.
And Fallout, Hideout, Cold Town, and Merlin Works all teach improv classes. So get on it.
I love that. So who can you guys give me an up-and-coming Austin comedian that people should keep their eye on or go check out?
Yes, absolutely.
Who?
I will give you a list. Liz Splatt, Aya Aramir, Nick Murphy, Martin Phillips,
Ooh.
Kat Swantner. And there's a couple. I'll probably think of more.
Nice.
Even after we're done recording, I'll be coming in. But no, I'm constantly meeting these amazing, brilliant comedians. And they come in, do my shows, walk out on the 6th Street. I might never see them again. Maybe they'll come back with it. No, there's so many talented people that don't get the props that they should. So anytime I have to gas up my comics, I absolutely will. But yeah.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Follow any of those people that I just mentioned, please. They're so good. They're so good.
And I'll give you a list of the improv and sketch shows around town that please, I think you should check out. So All Night is a wonderful, amazing improv troupe. I'd say Father Figures, we're a great sketch troupe. Parallelogram, a Phonograph, probably one of the best improv troupes in the city. They've been doing it for like 20 years. The Knuckleball Now is one of my favorite improv troupes. They have, let's see, what else? Mysterios, The Real Housewives of ATX, Fuck This Week in Garage over at Fallout. Austin Secrets is a great show at the Hideout. And I'll give my own shout out. Friends for Now is my improv troupe. Thursday nights.
Hell yeah.
Friends for Now.
Oh my God, this is awesome. And when is and Ladies Night comedy show is every week on what day?
So as of November, Ladies Night is now going to be a once-a-month show. It's going to be the first Wednesday of every month. And then the other 3 Wednesdays are going to be a mixed showcase that focus more on really making these shows, running a weekly show every single week and keeping the lineups fresh and focusing on female comics is a tremendous undertaking. And there are a lot of female comics here, but once again, we represent about 6 to 12% of this actual industry. So I really want to make these lady shows as fire as I can be. So we're going to do once a month and make it like a kick-ass ticketed, big event. And then the other three Wednesdays at 9, it's a showcase, which we'll have the women on it. We're just throwing men in. We're basically throwing men in on the other 3 weeks because there's so many of them. They're like rocks. They're just like rocks everywhere. It's like we're filling our driveway. Yeah. So, but Ladies Night is every first Wednesday at the Velveeta Room, and you can follow their website and their Instagram. Bring your friends, get drunk. We'll make you laugh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Izzy, Dave, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate this because I think we have a great comedy scene, and I think we just have such cool shit in this city. And I like to hear that from the professionals and from the people that are in it. So I appreciate y'all taking the time and coming on and chat with me.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for calling us a professional.
Yeah. We are recording this. I'm going to make this my ringtone. You calling me a professional.
I'm going to send that to my mom.
That's awesome. Oh my God. Okay. That's all for today here on CityCast Austin. You can find links to Coal Town and Ladies Night at the Velveeta Room in our show notes. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate the show, take them to a comedy show, leave us a review, subscribe to our Hey Austin newsletter, and, as a reminder, if you really love us and you like what we do, support us. Become a neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye, y'all.